Recreation 32. Golfing is one of the hardest and most precise sports to play. It involves a set of clubs ranging from a driver, woods, irons, sand wedge, and chipping wedge. Along a set of clubs is a golf ball, hitting tees, and a golf course is needed to perform such activities. The basic goal of golf is to get the lowest score possible. This is quite the opposite of other sports where the highest score is the best. In golf, each par is ranked by a certain score ranging from par 3 to par 5. Your duty is to try and reach a score under that par number. For example, if it is a par 3 course, your goal would be to achieve a score under 3. Each stroke or swing you take counts as one and increase each time you swing. So, if it took me 5 swings or 5 strokes to finally make my ball into the hole, my score for that par would be 5. The locations I practice at varied. At some times, I would start off in my own backyard and practice my swing. After the first week of practicing my swing, I moved on to the courses at Monarch Bay, which is located in San Leandro, and a local golf course in Hayward. In the first few weeks, I stuck to the driving range and the putting stations. I tried a couple of courses, but it went by very slow and wasn't very successful considering I had just started the sport. There are safety rules to golfing, and it can be dangerous considering you have very hard golf balls flying around all over the place. One of the most common phrases of safety is "bore," which means to watch out because there is a ball out of its line of course. Another safety tip is to stay far away from a person when they are taking their swing because you will get hurt by their club if you are too close. I've learned these tips from a tutorial on basic rules from YouTube. Golf. It has been predominantly a male sport because around the time golf came around to America in 1779 and boomed to popularity at around 1910, according to Wikipedia History of Golf. At this time, it was predominantly men because of the sexism towards women in this era. According to the Impact of Title IX by Barbara Winslow, women were not allowed to partake in any physical activities like sports because it was thought to disrupt reproductive organs. Usually, when the time came where it was acceptable for some sports to be played by women, only white and wealthy women were allowed to play such activities. In today's world, there are far more women playing compared to the past. According to Lee Philip McGinnis's Getting Past the Red Tees, Constraints Women Face in Golf and Strategies to Help Them Stay, 1 in 5 women in America play golf. My theory on why participation for women in golf has raised was because it became available to everyone, not just the wealthy. When someone is constrained or limited to such activities, once it is available, they, of course, out of natural instinct, try to participate. That activity of golf is ideal to the opposite sex, males, because, as stated, sports were for men only, and very few wealthy women were able to play. Also, in the Victorian era, women were to be inferior to men's well-developed and well-organized bodies. A quote from Historical Perspective on Women's Leisure by Gaines and Gaps. My leisure hobby experience relates to the class because as a female going into a male-dominated sport, it is defying the traditional norms. According to Gaines and Gaps Participation in Constraints and Possibilities article, recreational activities for children are often open to both girls and boys, but parents may differently enroll their male and female children in activities and tend to select stereotyped activities that they believe are appropriate for the gender of their child. My parents enrolled me in ballet and baton twirling at a young age, which abided by this stereotype. I didn't participate in golf before this leisure hobby because I was simply not interested. I was more involved in softball in high school and so thought of golf as a boring sport because it was not fast-paced like softball. I didn't necessarily have any constraints to play any other than my focus on softball and the year-long training I had for it. This activity challenged me in many ways. First, my participation in a male-dominated sport was a big challenge because when I would practice, men would scrutinize or stare at me as I made my mistakes on the course, which made me embarrassed and not want to partake in this activity anymore. It's also stated in Gains and Participation and Constraints and Possibilities article that both males and females participate in some sports, but a gender difference is evident in terms of number of participants and numbers of highly competitive or professional athletes. Coming from playing a female-only sport like softball and moving to a sport where not many women participate was something new. The insights gained from this experience for females was that one more woman is now playing golf compared to the low number of women that played back when golf was first started in 1910. For the males, the gained insights are that by adding one more female to participate makes the sport less sexist and more equalized. I would participate in golfing again. I just need to build the confidence up in myself and ignore criticism from others when I make mistakes on the golf course.